Welcome back. Thank you for listening. It's Stud and Dud, another episode, another Friday. Here I am. I can't believe you are back with a beautiful, glowing face.
Yeah.
Back from spring training in Arizona.
Unbelievable.
Dr. Bob Lawrence.
Unbelievable.
How was it?
Well, listen, man.
We'll get into it in a minute.
Just lots to talk about.
Lots of food?
Oh my God. Well, you saw the pics.
I did.
I sent them.
We'll get them up on the website. We'll get them up on Instagram, social media, so you see it all. But oh man, it's the one you sent me with the jalapenos.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get to the food.
Anyway, welcome back. Another edition, another episode. Stud and Dud. Don't forget STUDNDUD. Stud and Dud. Don't forget that. StudandDud.com. Got that rolling. Instagram, Twitter. Follow us. Hit us up with some thoughts that you might think about the show. Once again,
Absolutely.
Gotta let us know. We love our listeners. We love you guys.
And this is how we get better.
That's right.
Without you,
You're right on
there's
that
no
one.
Stud and Dud.
Exactly. But no, spring training, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I saw Captain Marvel, which
I can't wait to hear about that.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah, I've
We'll get into
read
that.
reviews.
And they had pretty good reviews, which I figured they do a good job on it. Good job. Great job. Okay, and here's some topic of the day I want to get into. Best baseball memory ever. You've got, I'm sure, a few to think about. So just think for a second. So you got a little bit to get into that. I've already got mine, obviously, locked and loaded. I don't have much of a baseball memory, so that's why, I don't have much to pick from. I'm like, A, B, or A or B. Which one? Which one here?
Yeah, right.
Which one we rolling with?
I was just going to say, man, that was not a tough
And you'll probably hear A and B.
You're right.
Because there's not much. So let's go ahead and just roll with both of them. But we'll get into that. Best baseball memory. Of course, let's, just end tune for spring training, opening day. So best baseball memory ever. We got to get into that.
No
and of course,
problem.
March Madness heating up. Literally, as we're talking right now, of course, it's conference weekend. The conference tournaments are going on. So March Madness is really starting to heat up. So we'll briefly touch on that. Obviously, the next 2 weeks that's all it is. I mean, are you filling out a bracket this year too, which we'll get into?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Have you already done a bracket?
No, because we
don't even know who the teams are yet.
I know exactly. I know. I was just was asking. I didn't know if you did the bracket thing. The bracketology.
Listen, I got 3 boys. We do the brackets.
Y'all should do like a little whoever wins. Y'all should have like, hey, if you win,
we get real competitive.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we get real competitive.
We should,
and we cheer when one bracket falls apart. So
NFL moves. I got to get into that too as well. A lot of you were, I know, of course, gone this past week, living it up in Arizona, getting that beautiful glow on the face. But a lot of guys are on the move, which we knew was going to happen. I got my Yeti Denver Broncos tumbler that my parents got me. It was one of their mini Bronco wedding gifts they gave me, which I love. Which I pretty much asked for. I was like, hey, Bronco it up. Give it to me, baby. Even though
you got Bronco wedding gifts?
Yeah, I did. Here's one of the
What did your lovely bride think about that?
Oh, she didn't care because what's so funny, here's one of the first ones we got in the mail. We opened it up. A Denver Bronco crock pot, baby.
Oh, my God.
Well, I put a ton of Denver Broncos. We just pretty much did Bed Bath & Beyond. So I was like, I think they've got a bunch of team stuff. So next thing you know, I'm just loading up. Oh, this looks cool. Oh, I'm loading up all the Denver Bronco stuff that you can think of.
You have a Denver Bronco crock pot.
Yep, I do. And her sister, I think her husband made it. So now I guess my brother-in-law, anyway, he made it for me, bago, or whatever you want to call it. Or what's the other bago, or what's the other name for it? Cornhole.
Oh, yes.
Cornhole. Made me one of those Denver Bronco themed. I'm like, wow, hooked it up. But yes, that was one of the first gifts we got. She just she loves it because we've used it since. Obviously, we love the crock pot. Come on, man, it's Denver Bronco. Anyway, all right. So I got my tumbler out.
Wait a minute, before you do that,
I was just wanting to jump on.
Is she a Bronco fan?
I told you, yes. How's Doc forgetting this already? Let's just go this real quick. Okay, so I'm up in Northwest Arkansas, 2008, University of Arkansas. Finishing off my Van Wilder run. Right. You get my point. And then I meet her. I'm like, oh my God, you're from Littleton?
Oh, that's right.
And then I meet her family, and I'm sure Dad's huge Broncos. Not as big as I'm unfortunately about not as big as they come, but it's up there. Because he loves he's really fallen in love with the Hogs, being up in Northwest Arkansas and literally working in Bentonville. So right there, next to home base essentially. But anyway, so that's how. Yes, she's from Littleton. So of course.
Okay, yeah, I remember you.
Yep. So NFL moves. We'll get to the NFL moves, certainly. But of course, I love bringing up my beautiful bride and that she's from Littleton. I love Colorado. Anyway, just besides the Broncos, I love it. It's a beautiful state. Have you been?
Oh yeah, the Colorado, not to Littleton.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just didn't know if you've been to Colorado.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak.
Oh, all the different things.
Oh, my
Gardens
gosh.
of the Gods.
Yes.
Royal Gorge, which runs over the Arkansas River, oh, by the way, heading out that way. It's a 1,000-foot gorge that literally a bridge runs across. I've been like, now I wouldn't even get close to it. As a kid, remember my parents like, oh, yeah, you ran right up to it. We're freaking out.
Oh, my gosh.
You know how kids are. They're
Yeah,
just like,
right.
oh, yeah, cool, it's an edge, and let's see it. I'm like, now I'd be like, yeah, like my parents, like, no, 20, 30 feet minimum. I might be 80 feet away even.
Yeah, you're
A
like
football field away.
Right.
Let me see if I'm, okay, good enough. But yeah. NFL moves, ton of those, and of course, as usual, stud and dud segment. Got to get to the stud and dud segment. In the week off, or in the segment off each year. I'm like acting like this is a season we're doing here all the time. I'm like in football mode.
Right.
Anyway, in the episode.
You are in football mode,
I am
man.
already, unfortunately.
Oh, my gosh.
Stud and dud, though. Got to get to the stud or dud segment, I should say.
Absolutely.
There's a few to get to because, hey, we're going to find out what people are willing. Did you see that? What people are just willing to pay to get into some
Oh,
prestigious
my
colleges?
goodness gracious.
Yeah, so we'll get into that.
Don't even get me started. Well, you're going to get me started.
Yeah, I will, certainly. And also, just how terrible music is today. A certain song that just came out. I'm not much a fan of music released today. I have a few people that when they release music, I like it, but for the most part, and just shows you my point being when we get into that segment, how a song shot up to number one so fast, and I'm like, these guys have a number one.
Yeah, right.
And you'll speak, and there's two names we'll speak of that have a number one that many people can say they don't have a number one. And that's why to me, I'm always like, nah, number ones. I mean, it kind of meant something the Beatles had like a lot of them, but now if you get a number one, I'm like, so what? So did you'll hear like
Right,
so and so.
right, yeah, right.
So we'll get into that, and then we'll also get into this. It will be hopefully the shining stud moment this week. We should have a stud, right? And I'll get you to ponder this, which of course definitely ponder your favorite, your best baseball memory ever. But can you name the last time a kicker won MVP in the NFL? Just think about that. You would think probably what 50s, 60s. We'll get into it in just a little bit, but just ponder that as well. Last time a kicker won an MVP in the NFL. We'll get into it. But first off, please tell me about spring training.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me.
Where do I begin?
Where you began. Where you began. The trip
Well,
out there. Was anything happen on the flight out there? Anything
Well,
crazy?
of course, I'm scared of flying. I hate,
Oh, are you?
I hate
There we go.
I hate flying. But you what you do for your kids, man. I got on the plane.
Got to. And that probably gives you a little more confidence being with your kids. You're by yourself solo. Woo,
Yeah,
I understand that. But when you're with your kids, it definitely gives you a little bit of boost. You gotta show the strength.
Right. And I don't know what it is about the flight from Dallas to Phoenix, but it is not a smooth flight.
Is it not ever a smooth one?
Ever.
I wonder if we should ask a pilot, is the air just always rough in that area?
And I have. And they say yes.
Oh, there you go.
I've asked flight attendants, they go, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Dallas to Phoenix, it's crazy. A rough ride. And
hold on.
It's
always a direct flight, I would imagine, right?
Right. But
where do you fly into? Phoenix, right?
Phoenix, yeah. So, the flight is bumping around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're tossing around up there in midair.
Yeah, 35,000 feet. And especially with the flights lately that have the crashes. Remember, have you seen the Boeing 737, whatever?
Yeah, of course.
That have now been grounded everywhere.
Right, of course. And what were we flying? 737.
Oh, man.
No, it wasn't
the MAX or whatever it is.
Right,
Yeah, that's been...
So anyway, our plane's flying around, bouncing around in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying every prayer known to mankind.
Yeah.
I'm praying my
Making
rosary.
some new ones up, maybe?
Oh, my gosh. My son, I open up my eyes between prayers, and my son is on his tablet playing a game.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, are you not scared? He goes, huh? What? No.
Oh, yeah. When you're young, I remember that. I would just get on with my gaming device or your whatever I listened to, and you were just like...
And check this out. He's playing a game called Jetpack Joyride.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So it was kind of like 3D for him.
Yeah,
because
he's doing into this. Yeah.
Right, he's doing Jetpack Joyride, and the plane's bouncing around in the sky. Yeah. I'm praying that we don't drop out of the sky.
Yeah.
So anyway, the flight was nerve-wracking.
Was it 2 or 3? You have 3 kids?
No, I have 4 kids.
That's what I thought. 4
3
kids.
boys.
3 boys. So the 3 boys, all 3 go?
No. The oldest one's back here playing baseball.
So he doesn't go anymore.
No, he can't get out there because of. Yeah,
gotcha.
It was so funny because he started playing high school ball and he's like, well, there goes spring break.
Yeah,
man.
right.
And my 2 other boys and me, we're looking at him like, what do you mean there goes spring break? He said, well, we can't go out there. I got baseball here,
He's like, you can't go.
It's exactly what I said. I said, oh, we're going.
Oh yeah, Jerry.
we're going, man.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So I took the 2 younger boys out. We had a great time, man.
That's awesome. Plenty of food?
Oh my God.
You stay pretty much right next to the park. Are the parks all? How many parks are right there that you can go to?
Well, I think there's 16 clubs out there.
Yeah, that's what if half the league's there.
Yeah, half the league's there. They have several stadiums, in different parts, the surrounding Phoenix area, from Scottsdale to Peoria to Surprise. Those are all like suburbs that all kind of are snug in there together.
Exactly. Kind of like Dallas is so huge, but it's like just a smaller Dallas. You have all those.
Correct. That's right. So it's fantastic because you can take in an afternoon game, get in a car, drive to another stadium, take in a night game.
Well, imagine if they had that like in Frisco here. Or
Oh,
something.
exactly. Right. And all the stadiums are kind of like the Frisco Rough Riders.
Exactly.
Right?
There you go.
Nice, intimate parks.
Yep.
They're fat. It's like I think one of the attractions to spring training is simply that there's a nostalgic element to it.
Yeah.
Because it's baseball being played in these
small. You're getting closer to these players. You're getting more in touch and tune with these guys.
Right. You got people.
Usually, you're so far away. You're pretty much behind a wall.
That's right.
You're behind a wall. You never even get close to them.
You got people.
Can't even talk to them.
That's exactly right. And here the ball players are interacting with the fans. They're throwing
signing autographs.
Signing autographs.
Speaking of.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of.
Oh, we got several. Puig.
Yeah, which funny, you sent that to me, and it looks like an X. So I'm like, XP, and that's where, I know I see 66, and I'm thinking, because I see the P and 66, I'm like, it's got to be Yasiel, but I just throw you a curve. I'm like, Dennis Rodman, just messing with you, but anyway, I'm like, dude, you might want to see what an X and a Y looks like, because that does not really look like a Y. It's kind of Xing out there with the thing up top and goes through the Y, or the... Anyway, we got Puigs.
Yeah, we got Puig, and I made the mistake of mentioning some San Francisco Giant fans out there. Hey, man, my son got Puig's autograph. I almost got beat up, because they hate Puig. So the Dodgers in general, they hate.
Oh, yeah.
But we got, I'll tell you a real quick story, man. Scooter Gennett.
Yeah.
All-star second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Right? Stud player, great athlete, fun to watch. He's my youngest son's favorite player.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're at a Reds game, and he's got his balls.
Definitely got to see the Reds then.
Got to go see the Reds.
Yeah.
So he's got his ball and his Sharpie, to get his autographs. And he's down there on the third base dugout side. The Reds are out there warming up. For 30 minutes, I'm not kidding you, for 30 minutes.
He's just waiting.
Not just waiting. He's standing there at the third base side yelling, Scooter, Scooter.
Like, you make sure you remember this face.
Scooter,
Please.
Scooter. My youngest son is relentless.
Yeah.
When he wants something, he will just bug the crud out of you until he gets it, right?
That happens a lot when you're younger.
Right. So he's yelling, Scooter, Scooter, Scooter for 30 minutes. I'm sitting up there thinking, oh my gosh, come on, man, let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Scooter's giving him zero attention because he's warming up.
Yeah, that's true.
He's getting ready to play a game.
Yeah.
So now it's about, 1 minute before game time. The players are making their trip to the dugout to get their gear ready and get ready to play. He literally runs to the sidelines and he yells, Scooter yells, hey, and there's all these kids and families there. He goes, hey, where's the kid that has yelled my name
for 30 minutes?
For 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He literally who's the kid that yells my name for 30 minutes? Everybody in the stands, including all the other kids, point to my son as he's raising his hand.
Like, yeah, me.
He raises his hand.
Yeah.
Everybody else is pointing at him. And Scooter goes, so he goes, who's the kid that's been yelling my name for 30 minutes? Everybody points at my son. He raises his hand. Scooter goes up. He goes, I got time for you, little buddy. Literally, he goes, I got time for you, little buddy.
That's awesome.
He was smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah.
Scooter was smiling from ear to ear. He was just blown away that this little kid, man.
Because I'm sure he's not like the biggest of stars. Let's just face it. So
no, he's not. He's right. He's not.
So he has a fan. He knows he has that big. So I'm sure there's others. There's got to be. If there's one, there's more. So I can't even imagine me as and then knowing, wow, this guy not yelling anyone else's name, my name for that long. Of course, I'm thinking I had King Griffey Jr. because that was my king, and I'm sure couldn't imagine how many kids were yelling his name.
Right.
But you get my point. As if he is Jeter. Yada yada. I can name the studs of studs.
Yes. Well, Scooter was feeling good, right?
I'm sure he felt like the stud of studs. Is my point.
I'm going to tell you how much he felt like a stud because he actually went Babe Ruth on us.
Yeah.
He went Babe Ruth on us. He was feeling so good.
Yeah.
He says to my son, "I got time for you, little buddy," and he's signing his ball. And he goes, "You know what, man? I'm going to hit a home run for you today."
Yeah.
I went, "Oh my gosh, he's gone." He went Babe Ruth,
Did
right? No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, he didn't, but he had a stud game, man.
Yeah.
He had a stud game. He went like something like 3 for 4 doubles, RBIs, man. He was.
He should have came back after like, hey, I tried, bub. I wish I could give him like a ball that they played with or something.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So, but yeah, it's funny. He's not a house in baseball circles. He's a household name. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a house, but like what it's like what you're saying. Puig.
Yeah.
Even if somebody who's not a baseball fan has heard of Puig.
Exactly. Yeah. Even his first name is Yasiel. I know that. You get my point.
Right.
That is not like a name you're going to remember.
Right.
But I know that.
Correct.
So,
right.
Exactly.
So anyway, we got autographs. It was a great
That's
time,
cool.
man.
Best thing he ate.
Me?
Yeah. What was the best grab? Was it one of the millions of dogs? I'm sure you chowed down.
No.
And do you make and all the hot dogs you do eat that many hot dogs out there?
Countless.
My point being, do you mix it up? This one plain.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
You got to, right?
Oh my God. They got all kinds of
like the one where you showed me, which is jalapenos.
You have no idea how many different hot dogs there are.
Nice.
You have no idea.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, until you go to spring training.
They got Chicago style, New York style.
I literally went up to one concession stand and I'm looking at the menu of all the different hot dogs, and the guy's standing there, man. This young guy's standing there, and I'm going like, I'm just like speechless looking. He looks at me and he goes like this. Yeah, right.
You got a lot to pick from, brother.
He goes, take your time, man.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like it's ice cream flavors. There's like 30 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Which one?
Exactly. So yeah, more dogs than you can
Love
imagine.
it.
But favorite food. Oh my gosh. It was so good I forgot to take a picture of it, man.
Oh, okay. Because you gobbled it down so fast.
It was a frozen cheesecake.
Ooh.
Drizzled in chocolate and caramel. With some...
At the park.
At the park.
There you go. I mean, just like, wow.
Sprinkled with like nut chips.
Yeah, right. You're just like, your face looks like you just ate it again.
I'm serious, man. Oh my God. Frozen cheesecake, man.
Yeah, hey.
On a stick.
Yeah.
It was on a stick.
Oh,
the cheesecake
that's
is...
what I would imagine. Unless you're just... I'm like, Doc, you going full fist? You're going caveman on me here. I was like, at that or they put it on a plate and you ate it with a fork. But I was like, I hope they had it on a stick. That's what I was thinking. Because it almost reminded me of something that they deep fry, almost in a way.
Kind of, yeah. But it was frozen. Gorgeous, man.
Trip rating, give it to me.
10.
Always a 10 for the most part.
Oh my God.
You made it there and back safe on the jet plane. You didn't have any troubles.
No crashing.
Boom. Exactly. Well, good.
Got a lot of prayers in. Got a lot of baseball.
Exactly.
It was a good trip, man.
Good. Well, I'm like I said. If we get out there next year to do the show, I can't wait. It sounds because I don't do much baseball.
I know you're not I know you're not the biggest baseball fan, but you. I promise you.
Oh yeah, I just love sports in general.
Yeah, right. One spring training for you will change your baseball outlook.
Little perspective, a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. All right, Captain Marvel. Let's get into it.
Okay.
It was great. I have to honestly admit I now have a crush on Captain Marvel and Allison Brie, literally. But great movie. Or no, Brie. I almost said Allison Brie. That's actually another. Her name's Brie. What's so funny? Allison Brie is another actress. Brie Larson's her name. Brie Larson. Boom. I don't know why that just rolled off my tongue, but it's Brie Larson. Yeah. See, I'm so infatuated with Captain Marvel, I forgot her name. It's Captain Marvel that I'm in love with. I guess I just found out.
You're liking her as much as I did my cheesecake.
Exactly. I'm like Captain. But it was a good movie though. I think what the one thing you see in a lot of movies they do these days. They just bypass a lot of stuff. I mean, and they sometimes make the movie, which this one, thank gosh, was not like 2 hours and 30 minutes. You're like, okay, really? It was that long? And you could have put this in it, but decided to put all this other junk in it that I'm like, to me was needless. Those are other movies, which we'll get into, not point being when we see a movie where I'm refreshed and I can tell you certain things, but point being there are movies you'll see, you get my point. And that's how a lot of them are nowadays. They'll make them, and my favorite, not favorite, but I love Transformers or the Avengers movies. I mean, they're 2:20. I mean, that's a lengthy movie, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
That's right.
And you know what? It's a good movie is because it's flowing along. We thought it was your UPS guy?
No, man. I was making sure that we were recording.
Oh, right. Whoa. Are we still going?
Right.
Due to this whole show. Oh, what?
Because that's happened to us.
Oh, right. All right. But back to Captain Marvel. Any of the movies. My point
was it packed? Was the theater packed?
Oh yeah. Well, it did. It did 150 mil the first weekend, which is huge. Yeah. Like in Wonder Woman, obviously, when you have a woman, but it's a lead based role and it's a woman has a lead based role, especially in a superhero. I mean, when Wonder Woman last year, was the year before, I think it was, did 100 mil. Everyone was like, wow, what? Which everyone was giving it good praises too. It was a great movie, 100 million. Did 100 million, so that's huge. In the first weekend, went on to gross like 300 million, and I forgot what worldwide, but 300 million here, that's great, especially when you have, like I said, a woman with a lead role. I mean, let's just be honest, you don't see that too often.
Correct.
But with these huge comic book characters, it's definitely going to boost up the money they make. But anyway, yeah, grossed 150-something million the first weekend alone, which is nuts. I mean, that's up there with, I think it was like the 7th biggest opening for the Marvel series, which they've released, which is crazy, like 20-something movies now.
Golly.
Since the first, the Hulk or the Iron Man, I forgot which one they based off of, but there was Edward Norton played the Hulk like in 2008. And then that's when they really started jump starting, because right after that was Iron Man, and then boom, 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 as we are now. But back to Captain Marvel.
You've seen all of them.
For the most part, I think I've seen probably, say if there are 21 of them, I think it was 21, I've probably seen 18 or 19 of them for sure. But the obviously want to see this because it was the movie leading up, and they hadn't released one since last year's Avengers Infinity War, which End Game is coming up, where they have to fight Thanos again. But it was certainly a good lead-in movie to show her she's kind of like their ace, and like almost like Superman. Is just as powerful, essentially. So you get to find out how she gets her powers, who she is, her little background story of how she became Captain Marvel. But it shows how she got the name, and how they use Marvel. But it's obviously it's great. I like the movie. It wasn't, like I said, I'll give it probably 8 out of 10. Okay. I mean, it wasn't like 7.5, 8 out of 10. It wasn't blowing me away like some movies have in the past. I think one of the best movies I remember seeing, I know off the top of my head that was just amazing when I saw it in theaters, was what was the Batman movie? Obviously it was Batman. The Dark Knight, the one with the Joker with Heath Ledger's last great performance was ridiculous. But just that whole movie, the way it was shot and just the scenes, and point being, when you see that, and that movie's probably 2 hours, 15 minutes, I'd bet, or 2 hours. Any of those movies that are, and they just zoom, it's like, whoa, the movie, or you can tell you're getting toward the end, you're like, wow, I just felt like I just sat down essentially. But yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. The second one, all of them that Christopher Nolan did with Christian Bale, were great. But that one, The Dark Knight, that was The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Returns, and then what was the last one? Or that was The Dark Knight. Man, see, I'm getting them all twisted. But the one with the Joker is my favorite, where I remember seeing that in theater. I think I saw it twice in theaters. That was one of the last movies I remember seeing twice in theaters.
So are you the classic moviegoer, man?
Yeah, I love that, because I almost put that in the bio online. I'm a huge movie buff. I probably see I try to see a movie a month. I mean, and then if I don't see them, like, obviously in theater, I'm renting them. Like, or I used to download them. I used to download them the legal way, but no, like say, what was the movie that just came out that I had to definitely see, we didn't see in theaters? So Wreck-It Ralph, the second Wreck-It Ralph came out, but yeah, I love movies. I love movies. See, I saw a movie last month.
I can't wait for you guys to have kids, man. Your movie life is going to change, because you'll be at like 101 Dalmatians.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you will be.
I'm going to be trying to force all this older stuff on them.
Oh yeah, you will not.
They're going to just be like sleeping or like wanting to do something else already.
Oh yeah.
They're like, no, you better put something cartoonish on. Which I can do a little The Wreck-It Ralph's a cartoon, so I'll try to do some cartoons for them. But yeah,
your life will change, dude.
Exactly.
Your movie selections will be like, what the heck?
Yes.
You'll be in a movie. You'll be looking around the movie theater, and there's like 400 kids there, and you're going like, how did this happen?
Because and I've seen where the adults try to go see those movies with kids. Like one of the Iron Mans I remember going to see with Avery, where like they brought their kid and it was running up and down, and we're like, this isn't a daycare. Like, I'm glad that y'all are watching and enjoying the movie, and you're just letting your kid run around like you're at home. This isn't your home. This is a movie we all paid for.
Right.
It was ridiculous, but I'm like, wow, I guess that's what you're. I mean, that we would get someone to watch, but yeah, you're gonna have to find those times. Like, all right, time to go watch our movie.
Exactly right. So, do you get your tub of popcorn? Do you get your Coke? What do you do? What do you do?
We go to Look Cinema.
What's the food there? And
I gotta give them a shout out. Right down the road from us, right down on Beltline, is Look Cinemas. Bomb.com. Take it back to the 90s there on that one, but it is great. You can get 2 restaurants attached to it, so you have a couple of course, a couple of theaters with a full dining experience where you have people dining, waiting on you or whatever, which we had never done that. Then they got a couple of medium-sized theaters, and they've got their 2 jumbo size that are called Dolby Atmos, and that's the reason I stumbled upon it, because Dolby Atmos, which, speaking of speakers, I know you obviously, Dolby Digital, or what they came out with like in the 90s, is where you always had speakers beside you and had speakers behind you. Well, now they finally put speakers behind the screen. Oh, wow. Well, now Dolby Atmos, they have speakers all along the top, so you have speakers everywhere. You're surrounded, fully surrounded, immersed as they call it. So that's one of the first, because one of the guys that led me to, I probably always would have loved movies, but got hooked on it because a guy named, which got to give Danny Joe shit. I'll hopefully have him on the show one day. Huge movie buff. Danny Joe Crawford has probably seen 1 trillion movies in his lifetime, but always used to work for theaters back in the day. So I'd be going there in the summer and just seeing movie after movie after movie, just because I get to go watch them for free. and to get to see what happens behind the scene, which was really cool back in the day. So he and then he led me to always get me in movies early, or getting me premieres, or sending me stuff. So I was always seeing movies beforehand, which was cool back in the day. But regardless, it's just one of those things that led to now. And so I love watching movies, getting to see them how they're. And I really, like I told you, I want to get into that. I love to. Eventually, with all the Netflix, the Hulu, the Amazon, I would love to eventually make them either a movie, because any of those they make on there, which is great. They're only an hour and 30-ish minutes, which that's all I'm. You don't need anything too long, but that, or even make a short little, like I said, like a show on there. Get like right about 3 seasons.
It's going to be neat when they do a Stud and Dud movie.
Boom. Or we can make
a story in our lives.
Yes, exactly.
Stud and Dud.
That's in the works, I think, already.
I hope. I mean, it should be.
Yes. Exactly.
I wonder how many people would go to see that.
Well, we'll see how creative we can make it. That's the thing too. A lot of these movies are a little bit, they say, based on a true story, and then they add these.
Maybe ours would be a documentary, Stud and Dud,
or a mockumentary. those are really funny, actually. Right. Which there's a show on, I think it's Netflix, or I think it's Netflix, but it's called American Vandal, and that's a mockumentary, and they're hilarious. Like they try to make it like it's real, like they're documenting real facts, but it's all it's really good. But yes, huge movie buff. Captain Marvel, like I said, give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good lead-in movie, but they leave stuff out and kind of blow past stuff. But
that's what I heard. I think that's a fair ranking because
did a good job for the most part, but they just kind of blow past some things for them. They could have filled you in a little bit better or touched up on certain things. But super beautiful woman. Seriously, love me some Brie Larson now. Love how. And then the latest, actually, which they tied that in. Then I think yesterday, it was released yesterday. They released the latest and the last trailer for End Game, which comes out the very end of next month. And she, of course, they got to finally put her in it. So it's they should kind of lead in and show all the different people that are kind of still alive and have made it. Because if you've seen the last one, Thanos, which that was what, once he gets all those stones, he can, with pretty much a pound of, like a snap of his fingers, I think he says, and I think that's what it was, he can make half the people in the world disappear, and he does. Snaps his fingers, boom, they all kind of disappear. So it's there's like half of the remaining Avengers are left, and now they pretty much get their ace up, their ace in the their wild card, and Captain Marvel say, hey, because at the very end of the trailer, it's Thor, Thor, big hammer. Right. You can tell her in that house. So I'm like, where does this hammer come from? So I'm like, just blowing through walls.
You're thinking too hard, man.
That's me when I watch movies, because when I
just go with it, man.
Anyway,
don't worry where the hammer came from.
Where does this hammer come from?
I
know he's Thor. I wish they at least you would just hear, because it's got to be blowing through walls, right?
It's like my wife on Chick-fil-A commercials, where the cow's on the scaffolding and it goes up and it's cleaning the windows. My wife will go, like that could really happen.
Okay.
I'm like,
I'm not doing that.
I'm going like, okay, just go with the flow.
I know. But anyway, she's standing there. You can tell it's for her back's turned. She turns around. All of a sudden, he does this for whatever reason, and here comes the big hammer. Just whizzes right by her. She doesn't flinch. And then Thor smiles and says, I like this one. So I'm like, that's all you kind of teach. But she's a super. She's badass. So yeah, can't wait to see the End Game. It'll be a good movie. I'm definitely already thrilled. I'll have my tickets as soon as I'll get them as soon as they're for Look Cinemas. I have my spot every time we get the same 2 seats, because they have the reclining chairs. You get these 2 little tables on each side of you that you and your so you're not just sharing something with someone else. You get your own little thing that swivels over to you. It's like almost like you're sitting at a desk with the recliner, and you're just like, oh.
Now imagine if those.
Speaking of which, that's what we're gonna get into. Look Cinemas had to give the shout out where I go. Look Cinemas, and you ask if I got the popcorn. Every once in a while we get the popcorn, but since it has the theaters attached to it, we'll go early, and we love Brussels sprouts. So this place has some of the most bomb Brussels sprouts we've ever had. We'll eat those, have a couple of beers, then head over and get a couple, usually for the most part, because they, once again, are amazing. And they're grilled right in front of you, some fresh cheeseburger sliders.
Ooh, nice.
They're so good.
Nice.
And then they have fresh queso from the restaurant we were just at. So we don't eat the queso there. We'll get it because you can take it into the theater, grab a bucket of beer, because you can get a 4 bucket of beer, bring it in there. So we have our 4 bucket of beer sitting in the middle. Munch on our nachos and sliders.
So you don't go hungry?
No.
Okay.
We'll bring in our own candy, She'll, hey, baby. All of a sudden, out of her purse, here comes some Mike and Ike's or, some Milk Duds, whatever you like, We come prepared, baby. I love movies, though.
The only thing that would make that better if you were sitting in Denver Bronco chairs.
Ooh.
Now, see, if the theater started doing team
I'm
logos.
sure there might be one. Yeah, right. There might be one over in Denver I can look into.
Okay, man.
All right, so let's get into it. Best, if you thought about it, best baseball memory ever. Your best, your favorite, the one that tops them all. You get my point. When the Cubs won the World Series a couple years ago.
Well, okay. There's obviously that, but I think my favorite baseball memory, I think I already mentioned it to you, man. When I was a little boy growing up in Illinois, I'd living in Rock Island.
That's your best. That's your favorite.
As a kid, man, that's getting on the train with
I didn't
Grandpa.
know if you had one since then, or if it was like that's my point because I knew the Cubs won the World Series finally. So I was like,
Cubs winning the World Series was phenomenal.
Yeah,
but
probably nothing more than anything tops those old school because those are nostalgia at its finest.
Yes.
Those type memories.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. But,
Or moment. That's all because I didn't moment your favorite. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, so I didn't know if there was something like a moment that eclipsed
I think
that.
the New York...
Maybe your son, eventually. What if your son, or either, obviously, because your life has still time to live, but could that maybe eclipse those moments? Maybe your son goes
absolutely. There's no question about that.
When he signs a scholarship to the University of Arkansas?
Oh, yeah, no question about that.
When he signs that paper?
No question about that.
University of Arkansas?
Hey, which, by the way, I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
Here's a good baseball moment right here.
Yeah.
Out in Phoenix for spring training, right?
Gotcha.
So we like to go to the practices, watch the teams practice. Well, one morning it's kind of a rainy morning. The teams are practicing, but they're kind of in their indoor facilities, so you can't really get in, right? So my son is looking at playing baseball for Arizona State University.
Gotcha.
Big time program.
Oh yeah.
They're 16.
History.
They're 16-0 right now. They're making some waves in the NCAA.
Were they a catch away from the World Series last year? I hate to say that because we lost.
I know. Yeah. Too bad for the Hogs. But anyway, so we go, let's go check out. My son goes, Dad, go check out ASU for us. Yeah. For me.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm seriously thinking about going there.
Yeah.
So I take the boys. We go to ASU, right? This is so hilarious, man. So it's spring training. It's spring break for the university.
Yep.
So everything's kind of locked down.
Yeah.
So we're driving through the campus, and I see this guy with an Arizona State University sweatshirt on. It says wrestling underneath it,
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled down the windows. I said, excuse me. I said, can you help us find the baseball field? And he goes, yeah. And I said, wrestler? He goes, yes. I said, what weight? And he says, here comes a FedEx truck, man. We may have to pause for a second. I said, what weight? And he says, I'm a coach. I said, whoa, dude, are you flattered that? He goes, I'm definitely flattered. You thought I was one of the college kids? I said, yeah. So anyway, he kind of directs us to where the baseball stadium is. I tell him my son's thinking about playing baseball for Arizona State University. He says, hang on a second, man. This guy's a stud. I should have got his name. This guy's a stud. He says, hang on a second. He pulls out his cell phone. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm calling the coach. I said, whoa.
Yeah.
He's calling the head coach of ASU.
Yeah.
Right? So he couldn't track him down. He was trying to track him down.
Yeah.
Couldn't track him down, but told us where to go to the baseball stadium to get over to the facility. So we go over there. It's all locked up. And we're like, man, I wish we could get in and see the, locker rooms, the facilities and everything, And we're about ready to get back in the car, and here comes one of the college guys on the team, catcher. He's coming out to catch a bullpen with one of the pitchers. He opens up the door, and I'm standing there with the boys. Completely, they just, doing their thing. So the door opens up, so what do? We go in.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Open door?
Yeah.
Go in.
Yeah, right.
So we go in. Next thing we know, we're in the locker room and all the ASU players. Now, this is typical college guys. Here I am, Dad, with two boys. We're in their locker room.
Yeah.
And these guys, all the college ball players are sitting around. You think what do you think they would do? You think they'd go, can we
help you?
Yeah, can we help you?
Yeah.
No. You know what they do? They look at us and they go like this. Hey, guys, how's it going? Right.
Just a normal day for us.
Right. They're just like, no.
Yeah, it may happen, I'm sure, quite a bit. Y'all just stumbling in.
They didn't, had no concern about strangers hovering around in their facility.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
Introduced us to the first base coach,
Yeah.
David Greer, and met with them. And so that's a great baseball memory, man. Talked to a bunch of the guys playing on ASU.
I'm sure you're about to create a lot over the next few years with your sons. Are you besides Gardner playing baseball?
Gardner is playing.
I said any of the others.
Oh, yeah. All
are, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see which one ends up being the best. I'm sure it'll be a competition between the three of them to see kind of who can eclipse who.
Exactly right.
But yeah, I'm sure you're about to create a lot of them, and hopefully they're in Fayetteville.
Correct.
Eating some catfish hole.
Let's hope so.
My favorite, well, it's not even favorite, I guess. Well, favorite, I'll get to my favorite. My most memorable, I have two memorable moments, I guess. Memorable favorite. One was when I was, and it's about as my eclipse of, and I only played, like I said, it was my first sport. Started playing when I was like 5, baseball. And then we got into the pitching machine. 8 years old, whatever that is, right before you get into Pony League 9-10, which I got into, and I was like, yeah, that's when I hit the road, Jack, because I was taking too many balls for I thought was fun, essentially. I wish I would have stayed in it a little longer because I loved baseball, but the pitching machine, especially when you get to, and I would see kids, I'm like, how are you not cranking this? This is like easiest thing ever.
Right.
And point being, get up to bat, bases are loaded. We were really good. The year, I think it was one of the years that we were on the same team, but I think it was I forgot, I was either in 5th or 6th grade or maybe in 4th grade. I think it was, what's Little League go up to? 3rd grade, maybe?
Yeah.
2nd or 3rd?
Maybe, yeah.
That's when
10.
I first started. Okay, that's what I thought. So it was one of those years we were in. I remember because I had to go. I was like, that's so funny how much I didn't care really about sports. It was like, oh, I went on vacation, but we were in the tournament to make the Little League World Series. Whatever the prelim tournaments are to get to that, because we were one of the best teams in Central Arkansas. It's awesome. I mean, point being, one of the best memories, step up to the plate, bases were loaded, and I was because I was bigger when I was younger. I remember thinking at one time there was a book, I was looking through it when I go into the library. I use my brain every once in a while, I promise, Doc. I was in the library when I was like in 4th or, I think it was 4th.
Did you need a map to get there?
Yeah, exactly. I may have. When I was like in 4th or 5th grade, and it listed a bunch of, for whatever reason, I just remember listed a bunch of the big, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, so on. It listed like 4 or 5, Patrick Ewing. And it listed, because they were all 7-footers, and it listed how tall they were at like 10 years old. It had like, they listed their growth and how they were throughout the years. I'm like, oh my God. And it was one of the earliest ages they listed was around the age I was at. And I'm like, I'll be 7, because I was huge at the time. I was big. I was around almost the size of these guys at 10, years old. So I was one of the bigger people is what I was. I was a little bit taller for my age. So point being, those pitching machines, I'd crank home runs, and best one, I almost got my grand slam essentially. And it was going to be inside the park. So I get up the bat, bases are loaded, and I'm like, oh yeah. Every time, obviously I'm making contact every time. I mean, I've been out because I got in a fly, whatever, but was usually one of the heavy hitters. I usually bat at 3rd or 4th, and which I loved. That was like, because I was like, oh, I was prime time. That's why I wish I would have stayed in it because because I had good play because I played golf, and and always my golf coach was like, you have good ball contact. You have good, what is it called, ball to eye contact. It's been so long since eye-hand coordination. Jesus, man, where am I with this? Eyeball. It's been so long since I've heard it. I'm sorry, Doc. It's been a while since I've been athletic and around coaches that are telling me I have good hand-eye coordination.
Eyeball comp.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, right. But it has been about 17 years since I've heard that. Anyway, I have good. That's what they'd always say. Like my swing coach, especially in golf, would be like, you have good hand-eye coordination. So I always could see the ball coming in, could see it well. Good eye for the ball, I guess is what they'd be telling you in baseball. Anyway, get up to bat. Here it comes right down the middle. Smack. And I'm like, finally, grand slam. I've gotten home runs. I've never gotten a grand slam. I'm like, yes. So I'm going slow at first. Like, kind of doing not slow, but not doing a trot, but not running. Like, yes, like not going full sprint. Because I'm thinking it's gone. Well, I get about halfway to first base, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to make it. Boom, nails off the back wall. And I'm like, oh, so now I've got to start trucking it. So I get around first base, fine. Well, I get to second base, seeing where, I'm like, because he hadn't quite got there yet. Because back in the day, too, they wouldn't stand that far back because people usually weren't hitting it over their heads usually.
Right.
So I knock it clear over his head, get to about first base, realize that's not going to make it, hits off the wall, so now I'm trucking around second. Well, second base, here I make a fumble, and I do the almost miss it, and I have to tap it, and I'm like, there goes my inside the park grand slam. So it went from I got a grand slam to I can still get an inside the park grand slam if I truck it. Maybe I was going for it. There was no way. Even a coach was telling me to stop at 3rd, I was still rolling. I was like, I'm getting my grand slam even if it's inside the park. Sure enough, got a 3-run triple, I guess. But that was because my parents were like, yeah. I was like, I was that close.
So you turned a home run into a triple.
Yeah, turned a grand slam to a 3-run triple. But that was the sweetest moment. Because of course, I guess they're home runs, but the coolest one ever was it because I was that close. It was just memorable, is my point. Because I stumbled at second, and then I was like, I know I can't get it now because I had to stumble at second. But that's kind
of interesting. You take kind of a dud moment and you kind of polish it and massage it in such a way that you've convinced yourself that it's a stud moment.
It is a stud moment. It should have been a super stud moment if I'd just gotten a little bit more. That would have been the grand slam, baby. Well, slammaroo. Definitely that's my point. That's why coaches even tell you, or even in football, don't stop until you hear the whistle. Keep moving those feet. Same in base or any sport.
Correct.
Never just keep as soon as you hit, roll. don't see those guys you see just and then they're like, oh, it's not outside the park, and
Correct.
then they could have gotten
You
probably
see
a double
pros
or
do
triple.
it. You see pros do
The
it.
pros do it still. So
you see
that
pros
was one of
do
my
it.
moments where I'm like, God, if I just would have trucked and just said, nope, that's not going to make it, or just regardless,
Right.
just go.
Right.
I would have gotten an inside because I got probably 2 I can remember inside. I did get inside the park because I'm like, how? Because it would go over their head and roll the back, and I'm just because those bases are like they're nothing when you're little.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they're so close to each other. And I've gotten at least 1 or 2 I remember back in the day, but that was so close. But probably my favorite, honestly, like that's not my favorite's probably the home run race in '98.
Oh yeah.
That was probably, and I know it includes your man Sosa, but Slam and Sammy. But don't forget, it all kind of started. It was actually Griffey and McGuire.
That's right.
Because it started in that. Well, I didn't roll it back. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. '94.
See, Griffey was never accused of peds. Was
No,
he?
love Griffey.
Well, see, he's a stud. He's a real stud then.
Oh, super stud. And he never saw the weird growth, like his head got huge or his arms got huge.
Right? No.
He always just stayed that.
He was just a stud athlete.
So '94, if you forget, remember the strike. So the season was shortened by like 50 games.
Yeah.
Matt Williams and Griffey were both on pace with 43 for Matt Williams, and Griffey had
That
40
would have been
that
the year Tony Gwynn would have broke the 400.
That's right, yeah. So there was a lot going on that could happen that year. So that was kind of the start of all of a sudden, here's now this new little home run because like they were both on pace. Who knows if they would have got it with 50 games to go, but they were really close. The next year, Albert Bell hits 50 home runs. The year after that, remember out of nowhere, Brady Anderson, it seemed like to me. Remember Brady Anderson for the Orioles? Yeah, I have 90s locked for the most part on baseball. That's when I was watching. But Brady Anderson for the Orioles hit 56 and 96.
Yeah.
Then in 97, it was a real home run race with Griffey and McGuire. They were on, and looking at it, they actually didn't realize that they were on pace through midsummer. Then August, they kind of slowed down. Griffey ended up with 56 in 97, McGuire 58. So the MLB promoted it huge going into 98, going, hey, it's got to happen this year. I mean, it's just you're looking at, you're just getting right there, you're reaching it slowly but surely. So then I was like, wow, it was, and then it was Griffey, obviously McGuire to start the year, hit home runs in their first 4 games after looking it up, and I kind of remember like they were, and then on record pace. I think and it was June when all of a sudden, and Sammy was there. It was like McGuire was like at 30, 35. Griffey was like in the upper 20s, and Sosa was like at 19, or 17, whatever it was. But then Sammy had that 20 home runs June. Remember in June he broke the record, and still a record. He had 20 home runs in June. So now all of a sudden he's just eclipsed Griffey right past him. That's when that happened. Right around pretty much July 1st was when he finally eclipses Griffey, and now it's a 3-man race, and they're all still on track to break it. And of course, we know how that story went, where Griffey slowly slowed down like he did the year before and ended up, I think, 56 again or something like that. And then, of course, McGuire and Sosa literally kept going back and forth one after the other. We were tied a couple times. McGuire would pull past him. Sosa would kind of catch back up. Then McGuire hit those last 5 to really pull apart.
Yeah. So since then, how many players have hit over 61 home runs?
Or even close.
Since then,
besides Big Head, Jughead,
Bonds, so how many?
Not even. I mean,
that would be how many?
Yeah, zero.
And right. So what's that tell you?
Oh yeah. What does it tell you, Doc? A lot of use there, and then late '80s to '90s.
Yeah,
big time. And it's sad to see that. I mean, super dud moment to see. And I even remember that in high school in the late, because it was still there in the '90s. Obviously in the early 2000s, I should say. Guys were trying to get stuff on the internet. That was the internet was first getting big in the 2002 or 3. We could start buying stuff really, where people think, oh, no, really, that was really when it finally started getting bigger. Honestly, where you think, oh no, 95. Well, no, really, it was about till 2001, 2, or 3 was when the internet really started blowing up, where everyone was kind of starting to finally go online. Retailers, and you get my point.
Right.
So I remember some of my friends were like wanting to get that played football. Were like, man, I'm looking to, and I'm like, you're really already looking to start cheating?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Wait till you're at least like you may make it, and then you have like a dud moment or something happen. You're like, you know what? F it. I'm just gonna start.
Right.
Something happens, and you're like, I'm so used. I'm tired. You just have some. You just reach a pinnacle, or you reach a. I should say a climax of.
Right.
I've had enough.
Right.
I'm like, you're in high school. Even when the guys that are.
Listen, that was a huge.
Even McGuire, Sosa, like you're talented. You don't need that.
Huge problem.
But yeah, real big dud moment for MLB. I know you hate it. I try to like anything spin a positive on it. And say it brought it did bring limelight, a negative one, unfortunately. But it brought, for a while, I guess it was talked about, but no one really knew, or I guess smart heads should have known. But point being, it just brought that home run, the home run races, the scores, I'm sure, were, 13-10, and people were loving that, where I don't care about the score. The home run races were cool to me.
Yeah.
I don't care that the score is 13-10. I don't mind the game's 3-2. That's baseball. 5-3. You get my point. When it gets to 13-10, it's like when you see a stock go from 2-20. Love it. You don't see it that often. So yeah, enjoy your 10-20 run game that you see randomly, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
So yeah, I think it just it brought definitely a lot of like people like me. I mean, luckily loved the one that was the greatest of them all to me. That could play either A, didn't cheat, but B, could play either side. Like, I mean, one of the best ever. I mean, not only was one of the best smoothest swings you've ever seen in your life, and it is when you look at those replays of his beautiful swing.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Yeah.
And then you see him play in the outfield, and then when he broke his freaking wrist catching the ball, and then it didn't drop. No, he caught the ball and broke his wrist at the same time, running into a wall. Are you kidding me? Like, come on, hit on the ball the whole time. Like, that's a stud.
No doubt about it.
So, super stud, but that brought me to it. And then seeing those home run races was certain. But and then
I just think it's a dark period in baseball.
Oh, it is.
It's unfortunate.
Yep. And a lot of people are going to see that exactly as that's what it is. And if anything, try to spin stuff and say, hey, at least it brought a little bit of attention. But get my point. A lot of the attention that it brought, like me, well, now they're gone again. So it brought attention that now probably fans aren't. The real fans stayed there. The ones that love baseball saw that like you and are like, we need to do something about this. It's getting kind of out of hand. People are hitting 70 home runs like it's nothing now. Like, unless y'all want to start making ballparks and allowing this and making ballpark, and you're the real new ones, but you get my point. Build it 500 feet for home runs instead of 390, 400.
Right.
To make it a little more reasonable. But then you're talking about, imagine they did that. Imagine how those balls going back at players' faces. You get my point.
Right.
I mean, you're really injuring some folks.
Yeah, the young players today, though, have it's refreshing to know that the young players today have zero tolerance for cheating.
Yep.
You know, like a Mike Trout, is very adamant about you cheat.
And what's awesome is that helped having all that huge downfall that it had, and everyone now is like totally against it. Like,
correct.
You cheat. You see what happens.
It's
to
like
the
scarlet letter.
the Ryan Brauns of
that's
the world.
right. It's a scarlet letter now, man.
Yep.
Well, Robinson Cano.
Yeah, we can name. You just. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, man.
All right, let's move on. The as we speak right now, it's happening. Of course, by the time people may hear it, it is already done and over with. But it's a good thing to talk about. Tiger Woods, which is good to know he's playing this weekend. And I forgot they moved back what they call the fifth major.
Okay.
The PGA Championship
right.
usually was played, from 2007 to last year, because they moved it from March to May in 2007, but then moved it back now from May to March. So they call it the fifth major to kind of get it. So it's kind of sets the year off, really, essentially. Now here come the big tournaments. Here come the big.
Right.
And the Masters, I think, is like usual. It's like the second full weekend in April. So that's right around a month away. So it's a good tune-up for Tiger. Shot 2 under in his opening round, which was great. Especially when you see players like our own here in DFW, Jordan Spieth was like at 2 over yesterday and having some trouble, and has been lately. And you see that a lot lately since Tiger. I mean, Tiger, that's what I tell him. Look at that. He sustained it like none other and no other for such a long period of time. These guys now sustain it for half a year to a year and a half at most.
That's correct.
Rory,
good point. Good point.
I mean, they all have about a year or two, and then it's back to mediocrity. Or not mediocre. They're still one of the top in the world, but nothing to where they were then beating people like they were, like Tiger did for so long.
Well, Tiger was dominant.
Super dominant. He was. My point being just the longevity of how long he was dominant. It's just ridiculous now.
That's right.
You've got to look back and hope these people do and realize.
And you may never see that again.
Oh, I doubt you do.
You may never see that again.
Yeah. That is a rare.
He was dominant and he was intimidating.
Super.
That red shirt on the final round.
That too. You get my point. Just adding that to it, and everyone knew, and they all like me. I just would have been. I mean, I knew how it was because I played golf in high school. I knew what, and I had that, and I wasn't even like playing anyone good. I was just like every shot. What you kind of get that once you got in midway through the round, you kind of let go. You're like, okay, I'm playing good today. I'm good to go. But any of those rounds where you like playing those guys where you like get 1, 2, 3. Well, I was 1 or 2, 3 over anyway. But those guys when they start getting 1, 2, 3 over. Those hands start getting super sweaty, let me tell you. They're changing their gloves out all the time, I guarantee you.
Right.
And those armpits are just like, I can't even imagine that the pressure that was put on them playing with Tiger. And you would see you were just like waiting. You're like, waiting. It was like shorting a stock. You were just
can you
go ahead and short this guy. You better put a short on him because he's you know what I mean? He's shooting 8 over today.
Yeah, can you imagine being like 6 strokes up, right? But Tiger's playing behind you.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
And you hear the roars of the crowd.
Oh yeah.
And you hear people going, "Here comes Tiger."
Or it was like I said.
Oh my goodness, he was dominant.
Yeah, super dominant. March Madness, of course, that is like I said. That's I kind of get back to that for a second. I know we kind of tiptoed around that. Selection was the Selection Sunday, huge upcoming. Love the March Madness bracket. Can't wait to fill out mine. Be filling out mine in the next week for sure. We'll have to do that. We should do that this year. Do something for Stud and Dud. We both fill ours out.
Okay.
Because we got our show next Friday.
Yep.
So it'll be our third.
Yep.
Because I want to say, if I look correctly, We do a show next Friday, right?
Yes.
Then we'll do a show the following Friday. So it is right. We'll have 4 shows
that hit the airways
April 1st.
There you go.
Which is now today when people are listening. Boom, today. Boom, here you go. Here, people. Here's 4 episodes for you.
Yes,
so my point being, next week, so today's the 15th. Selection Sunday is on the 17th. So on the 21st, which is Thursday, that's the first day of the tournament. Okay. So we have to have them filled out on which I'll remind you because Tuesday we have our piano lesson. When I come in here on Tuesday, I'm going to say, hey, because by then we'll know. Obviously,
I'll have mine done by then.
Probably will. Mine too. And so then we come in on Friday, we'll have a good March Madness show next week.
Oh, awesome, man.
Got to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start of the weekend, kicking off. I mean, that's what my favorite
Man,
thing.
It's just it's
on
exciting,
all day.
Right?
Yeah. It's March on from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
2 days, 3, 4 days, that first weekend, like 4 days straight.
Well, you know what I got on the wall right here, right?
Does that have...
Tell me. Are you kidding me?
Tell me that has some cable.
Are you?
I didn't know if you just do a TV on the wall to have a beautiful little...
Man, I have ball games on here at night.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Well, we should have the Players' Championship on right now. We'll start doing that next week.
We can have it playing right here.
We'll do that. We'll start doing it.
We'll have it on while
for the audience. We'll get to see what they're watching.
Why wouldn't we?
That is something beautiful to look at, but let's give them a little bit more than just us and that to look at.
Yeah,
they'll be like, oh, look what they're watching. They're in this.
You know what? Good point.
We'll do that though next week.
Okay.
We'll have them make sure brackets filled out. We'll have the March Madness on right here.
Right here.
Because it kicks off at 11 a.m.
Boom.
Right when our show does.
Boom.
So everyone will be like, oh, they do their show from 11 to noon on Fridays. I see this now.
Stud and Dead just keeps getting better and better.
They're getting closer. Did
we just get better or what?
Quick. Well, let's get to the NFL moves. Man, there are a lot of players. Odell Beckham Jr., you see that?
Yeah.
To the Browns.
Yes.
They're loading up. Watch out for them. They were that stock that just plummeted. And that's why I tell everyone, well, when you reach the bottom, you've only got one way to go.
Man,
one way to go.
couldn't be happier, man. The NFL is not the same without a legitimate dog pound,
right?
Man.
Yeah, come on, man. At least get us to 8-8. I mean,
you gotta have
to cheer for.
The dog pound, come on.
Because it's just been a sad pound for the last for a while since they reinstated them back in 2000.
Pound.
Yeah, it's been exactly.
It's not been good.
So they're loading up. So watch out for the Browns. I mean, big contract too, or I should say, well, they're carrying over the contract, but it was just traded. So the Giants receive a first-round pick this year, number 17 overall. That's what the Giants received. Literally, they received the Giants first, or I should say the Browns first round. The Giants received a first round pick. Yeah, that's what I'm reading this right. Like I'm just making sure I'm reading. Anyway, the Browns' second and third pick this year, and Jabril Peppers. Okay, wow. So the Browns get Odell Beckham. I was wondering exactly what this was. So the Giants receive a first round pick this year. The Browns' second, or I should say the Browns' second, third round pick this year, and safety Jabril Peppers. They get Jabril Peppers, which is a pretty good safety. They get a first-round pick this year, and they get a third-round pick. So a first-round, a third-rounder, and Jabril Peppers, all for Odell Beckham Jr. Fair trade?
Yes.
Yeah?
I think so. I think for the Browns need firepower, man.
A lot of people were kind of questioning it, going, really? They do. The Browns, great. I think it's A+ for the Browns. I think it's like C+ for the Giants.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think they were just kind of like almost like Des Bryant. I think they were kind of with the Cowboys. I think they were kind of getting rid. They wanted to get rid of him. It was just too much of a distraction.
They're trying to
rebuild. They got Barkley as the running back.
Totally.
I'm right there with you.
And they need to.
They need. Yeah. Keenum went to remember Broncos. They had Case Keenum for 1 year. They picked him up for 1 year, which they signed Joe Flacco. Remember, they picked him up about a month ago, and that finally made that official. And so they they traded Case Keenum to the Redskins for some draft picks. So yeah, and I think they got like $4 million just to ship him over there too. So cost them a little bit, but I guess to them, hopefully for our Broncos, we'll see if it's worth it. To me, because what do I think as a Bronco fan? I almost think it's an even move because Case is a little younger, still with better coaching around him, which he may get this year, could have become a better player, or back to where he played with Minnesota. But you saw like he just had that 1 year with Minnesota, so it came back to the Broncos, came right back to where he was beforehand. So I'm sure that the Broncos thought like, hey, you had that 1 year, but you get my point. We don't trust it. We've seen Flacco, even though he's getting a little bit older and he's been hurt.
Right.
He's proved way more, a little bit more stable. So I think we went from C. I give Case Keenum maybe a C- for last year because it wasn't great. C- and he looked B+ A at times. Anyway, C- for the year. So I think now, hopefully with Flacco, we get about a BB-. So I think it's an upgrade.
Right.
Le'Veon Bell went to the Jets. That's a big move.
Big move.
Yep. So 4 years, $52.5 million with $35 guaranteed. So big move for Le'Veon. I know I'm sure hopefully glad being back playing. And The guy I trade with Deckmar Trade, Sean Deckmar, who runs Deckmar Trades, who I trade stocks with daily, huge Jets fan, so love him.
Wow.
He's loving
That's
life.
going to be interesting.
Yep.
That's going to be really
Because
interesting.
the quarterback proved to be pretty good last year, so
Yeah.
we can see if they can start. Now that they have Le'Veon, they can definitely look a little. I mean, Antonio Brown, so the other Steeler, he went to the Raiders. The Raiders, 4 years, $70 million, $19 million signing bonus. You got a signing bonus that's like a yearly salary, but that's.
You think Gruden's going to really turn it around out there?
The article came out the other day. I forgot what player that just left them said he hated playing for Gruden this past year. Hated it. Wanted, like, literally couldn't stand playing for him. Him yelling all the time because he's that old school coach.
Oh, he's
gonna
old
get in your
school, man.
face.
He's got. Yeah, that's right.
So
Poor baby.
exactly.
Right.
The only thing
I miss old school coaches.
I do, but the only thing the players these days, and I hate to have
They're
to say
babies.
and you have to coach them a certain way because if you don't coach, almost
They're
every,
babies.
and that's what sucks. You used to coach them as a team one way. Now you almost have to make it individually coach certain players a certain way.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Nick Foles,
Yeah.
the huge backup player for the Eagles the last
Should have
couple
been
of
starter,
years.
but that's
Could've,
another
could've,
story.
would've. Now he will be though for the Jags. Got a big deal, 4-year, $88 million, $50 million.
Good for him.
guaranteed.
He deserves the starting role.
Yep. So Ravens making some moves too, even though they let Flacco go. They're kind of rebuilding. They signed Mark Ingram from the Saints, and they signed Earl Thomas, the safety from
You are on top of this
Seahawks.
football stuff, man.
Oh, these are just the big players. There were so many moves. And the last one I got to shout out because he's a hog. Trey Flowers, and we knew it was going to be a big deal. I mean, obviously, if you're following football, and Trey Flowers, well-deserved, defensive end for the Patriots, so he got his Super Bowls in. One of the top edge rushers. 5-year, $90 million.
Wow.
So second highest paid defensive end. But, yep, I just had to get those play. Oh, and let me tell you about this, though. Here's what's so funny. So he makes this year, Bob, let me tell you this, $805,000 is his base salary, which is crazy. 5-year, $90 million. I was like, wow, he's making only $800,000 this year. Each year, though, he gets a $5.6 million signing
Oh,
bonus.
my goodness.
And next year, he makes so he goes from $800,000 this year to $11 million next year, and by the last 2 years of the contract, $16 million.
What are we doing here, right? What are we doing here?
We're trying to become studs.
Yeah.
Talking about stud or dud, let's get into that segment now that
Okay.
we've made those NFL moves. Big moves, which we'll get into more NFL, obviously, as more moves are made. The draft's coming up. Stud or dud. I can't believe it was named after talking about football at a movie from the 90s, which James Vanderbeek kind of laughed at. Varsity Blues. Operation Varsity Blues we're talking about. What a stud. What a dud move from all these parents. And half the kids didn't even realize it.
Listen.
Felicity, here's another
my
thing.
gosh.
Lori Loughlin, she was from
Right.
Full House. Felicity, or I should say, and Felicity Huffman was from Desperate Housewives. She got the bad end of the deal. She got the bad end of the stick. Feds came in, guns drawn on her. She's married to William H. Macy. I'm sure they're like, what's going on here? Lori Loughlin, from Full House, she got to surrender. I'm like, why did she get to surrender?
Right.
Poor Felicity Huffman gets, like, her kids are even in the house sleeping at the time.
Like she's
like, I'm
terrorist.
coming. I'm freaking I'm not. Are you kidding me? What am I going to do? Guns drawn. But it's crazy to see what all happened with this. I mean,
These are the
millions of dollars, anywhere from hundreds of thousands because it was either 10,000 on upward for these people to take a test. Sometimes more thousands and thousands upon dollars for someone to go take a test in someone else's name. And the kids thought they were getting it on their grades.
Correct. These are the ones that have been caught. There are more.
Oh yeah.
And we're not even talking about high school level yet.
There are CEOs, a famous fashion designer, a co-chairman for a global law firm, just to name a few. I mean, there have been some big names.
It's a big problem, man.
Schools involved: University of Texas, speaking of which, University of Stanford, or Stanford University, Yale University, Southern Cal. So, I mean, some big names up there. And this guy, who's just been paid millions over the years, it's just crazy when you look through this, what they did to get, pretty much tricked everyone. And the coaches that are in on it.
Listen, it's a huge problem. Gone are the days where parents raise children that you're either going to make it or break it, and you're going to have to hump it.
And
you're not going to get any favors.
Here's what's a funny moment. Mark, the guy supposedly who would take a lot of the exams in place of the students, would give answers during the exam or it says correct them after the test. I'm like, oh, so I guess you did. What's funny? I'm like, oh, you're not so smart then, are you, Mark? You got to correct them to make sure you get those high grades. Yeah, are you kidding me? Got in on like a 1,400 score or something like that. And they thought they got in. I'm like, wow, that is. And so it just kind of throws your mind and ponder to think, I wonder what all else goes on. Which you saw the guy from LSU, the LSU basketball head coach, has now been taped.
Yeah.
pretty much
Listen,
saying, hey, I'll give you this much to a recruit.
And it's not only what goes on prior to getting into the school,
what's going on during.
During, academically.
Cool.
Oh, my goodness.
When you see these players, what they're driving or what they're
I'm going
wearing.
to tell you how bad it is. I have a doctorate degree, and I'm not really sure I want to send my kids to college.
Yeah, right? Sad to think and say.
Right? My wife has a master's degree, and we seriously are wondering whether or not we even waste the time, effort, energy, or money going to college.
That's why you got to get in and find the right schools and the right people. Because as long as you're on the right people that are kind of like the MLB of the world now, as in, no, but that's cheating.
Correct.
You know what I mean? No, we're not down with that. We're going to make sure you do the right thing. You're going to get on. You're going to learn on your knowledge. You're going to pass on your own knowledge. We're not going to, erase B and put C for you. It's not how things work. That's not how life works. Let me tell these guys, too, 10 years from now, when they're working at J.C. Penney's and they have to count those pennies at the end of the night, do you think Manager Bob's going to come over and say, hey, why is the register $30 short, dummy? And I hate to say dummy, but you get my point. If you would just learn and just do things the right way. Because imagine down the line, because I thought about that when I was younger, like, man, you cheat now. And I was, every once in a while, I would do that as a kid. I'd kind of cheat to get by. I hated English, hated reading. I'm like, well, if I'm doing this now, imagine what you're doing when you're later in life and you're cheating. You can't cheat when you're an adult.
Well, you can't cheat in one situation.
Unless you're going to steal.
You can't cheat in one situation and be ethical in another.
Yeah.
Now you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're a cheater, you're a cheater. Period.
Exactly. But anyway, super dud moment. Another dud moment is how bad music's gotten. It has gotten bad. Talking about school, and another thing you that used to love and cherish and was a good thing you went out and earned. Same with music. Music was something you actually. To me, they went out and earned, and then they proved to the world. Now it's like you put out a song like the Jonas Brothers. You ever heard of the Jonas Brothers?
Right.
They put out a song called "Sucker." In less than a month, it's #1 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Jonas Brothers have a #1 song. I'm not going to go through the list of people who do not have a #1 song.
Well, music has become. It's anybody can make music now.
So saturated now.
Yeah, anybody be with the technology.
Yes.
Anyone can just do some.
And I see these artists, and they're just pressing buttons on pretty much a keyboard. That's not even like a real keyboard.
No.
It's just like a
DJ
board. What are those
you're
sound
not
processors?
You're not a musician.
Like you're not making music.
That's
you're just pressing buttons.
Correct.
Like you said, let me put you in front of how many keys are on a piano? How many notes are there in music?
Right.
Can we go through these things with you?
Yeah.
Not you. I'm talking about I'm just thinking of how you probably said this to people because I know you.
Oh my gosh!
How you know music so well.
Right.
And these guys that think they know music, and you're like.
I'm going to tell you an interesting.
But point real quick before I forget, Bradley Cooper. You know the song with the movie they came out with.
Right.
They hit #1 too. So Bradley Cooper and the Jonas Brothers have a #1 song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Funny. Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. Out at Phoenix, out at spring training, what I love about that, every game, of course, the national anthem is performed.
Yeah.
Right? Well, this is spring training, and they always have local talent in the Phoenix area perform the national anthem.
Got it.
The first game we're attending, four kids from a local high school choir came and performed the national anthem.
Bring you to tears?
It was one of the best renditions of the national
awesome.
anthem.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. 4 high school kids.
There you go.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the person sitting next to me, why is it that we can't have kids like this and other, and there was like a senior citizen living there that sang one night that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? I said to the person sitting next to me, I said, why can't we have that group perform at the World Series national anthem instead of...
It's got to be a name.
It's got to be a name.
Because anyone's watching anyone, they're not watching for that name to watch them sing the national anthem.
No, we'd rather have Roseanne Barr sing the national anthem.
You might as well, yeah. Throw her up there again.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they have that. It would be so much better if Major League Baseball would say, you know what? Let's take some of these acts from spring training.
Kind of do like almost an American Idol.
Almost kind of an American Idol.
These people put them on the...
Correct. And I'm sure the same thing is going on down in Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They should have national acts. People compete.
Yeah.
Maybe to perform the national anthem at the spring trainings with...
I think we found a new niche, Bob.
With winners...
We should go do this.
With winners being spotlighted during the World Series.
Exactly. The winner of the Grapefruit League sing-off.
Correct. The nation...
Wait till you hear them perform the national
The
anthem.
nation would be...
Like, oh, that's so neat. That's
floored.
Nice. Just to ground some roots. Get back. Put all this fancy. Yes.
Fake.
Stud of the week. Stud of the month. Stud of the year. You got to go back to 1982 just to bring it up. Got to go back to it. Remember last time an NFL kicker won MVP?
Okay, before you even say anything, when you brought that up at the beginning of the show, NFL kicker, MVP, the only name that could come to mind was George Blanda.
And everyone would think that, right?
Right.
And that's what my dad stumped me upon this because he found this the other day.
Okay.
Not Blanda. 1982. Mark Mosley.
No way.
Went 20 for 20. The 2 years before, most kickers back then, they weren't accurate. They're straight on kickers. Kickers weren't accurate. They hit on a clip of
Mark
60
Mosley.
to 80%.
Is he even a Hall of Famer?
Probably not. I didn't actually
see that's interesting.
Yes. But 1980 to 81, he hit just 37 to 63 attempts, so 58.7 a clip. That's what his rating was, 58.7 percentage rate. 1982, he goes 20 for 21. That season was shortened as well. But he had multiple game winners, broke the NFL record, which is crazy to think back then. It was 20 straight makes was the record. He broke that.
Wow.
1982.
I would have never. Yeah,
Mark Mosley for the Redskins.
Yeah, I would have never thought that.
Kicker won MVP.
Big name. I mean, really. I mean, a name you forget, but he was a big player.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was definitely kicker for a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When you hear those names that you like,
but I'm not sure he's
the Mortensons of the world. You know what I mean? Those kickers that last a while.
But I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer.
Probably isn't. But that's just crazy. 1982, a kicker won MVP in the NFL.
Wow.
There you go. 1982.
So
you didn't.
Did George Blanda ever win it? Did he ever win it?
No.
No way. George Blanda didn't win it.
Let's look. You know what? I like to do things on the dip of a dime.
Do it, man.
George Blanda. If I can spell George. You think I can spell George right?
You need me to do that for you, man?
George Blanda win MVP.
Never.
Tick. Tock.
Talk.
Tick. Tock. Here we go. All right. Did George win today? I don't think so.
Never.
It says MVP profile, so maybe in 61 he won. Let me just go to.
Well, that's something you to research that.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't look into George. I mean, because after Dad said that, I should have said, well, did George Blanda actually ever even win it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's funny is everyone would think George Blanda.
That's the only name.
He's the one because he played multiple positions. So you're thinking, okay, played 26 seasons of professional football. Are you kidding me, bro? He was NFL Man of the Year in 74, whatever that is. The Burt Bell Award in the 70. Associated Press Athlete of the Year in 70. AFL. So it was AFL most. So it was when he was in the AFL. So it was when it was AFL and NFL. So it was when he was in the AFL. He won the Most Valuable Player in 61. There you go.
Wow.
Is that not crazy to think? I mean, 200. Here's his professional career: 236 touchdowns, 277 interceptions.
Wow.
47% was his passing rate. Oh, I should say completion percentage. 47.7 was his completion percentage. His passer rating was only 60.7. Wow. But you get my point. You look at that back in the day, and people are like, "Yeah, you look 20 years, and now so far down the line, and you're like, wow, that's terrible."
Okay, man, I got one stud and dud moment for you.
Go ahead,
real quick.
Do it.
What's the whole deal with Jose Canseco and what's his name? Golly, man, A-Rod.
What happened? All I've seen lately with A-Rod is she's on his honeymoon with J-Lo.
Well, now Jose Canseco came out and said A-Rod was cheating on J-Lo with his ex-wife.
Really? Yes. You're kidding me.
But now I guess the ex-wife comes out and says...
It says Jose Canseco's ex-wife clarifies Alex Rodriguez's cheating claim amid engagement to Jennifer Lopez. There you go.
Yeah.
Huh.
Jose, man. What's with the Jose? Big ped user, big ped.
What's he talking about? What do you think? He wants to be. He can't. He's not a stud. He's a dud that wants to be in the limelight.
That's right.
I mean, that's what duds do. They go, how can I be in the limelight today?
I'll tell you how big dud Jose Canseco is. Do not be his friend.
Yeah, he's up there with the Ryan Leaf. Well, Ryan Leaf's kind of finally turned his career around. And he's coaching now. It's kind of flip-flopped that somehow. But you get my point.
Right.
He's dud of all duds, essentially. Right. Get away from that guy.
Yeah.
Usually not good news associated with him.
You do not hang out with Jose Canseco.
You're not doing great things usually. It's not like, oh, well, Jose Canseco just opened up the great chair. You're not hearing things like that.
Yeah. If you ever around Jose and you hear him say to you, "Don't worry, I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's why you don't be around them. There's no reason to leave them. Don't talk around them.
Don't
then,
even talk.
then you don't have to trust them and worry about it.
That's right. Just leave him alone,
That is
man.
funny. I did not see that. That is awesome. That's great news there.
Right.
Good pull up there, yeah.
Man.
Well, thank you for listening again, guys. It was another great episode. We got another one coming up next Friday.
March Madness.
March Madness is going on. We got the spring, literally opening day this year, which is right around the corner.
Yep.
Plenty of NFL. All the moves are have mostly been made, but we've got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Great times. Great time in sports.
More studs and duds. Oh, great. Yeah, really, the season's just talk about your son. And I know, obviously, we talked about college baseball.
Hey, he makes his
college baseball season's really getting going.
FYI, he makes his return to the field Tuesday night.
Oh, yay. Good for him. Doing much better. We'll have to talk about that next week. We need to bring up that moment. Why he's finally returning back to the field.
I will definitely be there Tuesday.
Hopefully we'll have a home run to talk about on top of it.
Oh, my goodness.
When you say Tuesday?
Tuesday night.
So, hey, we get to talk about it when we have a little piano lesson.
Yes.
You're going to be excited on
Tuesday. Oh, dude, man. Fired up.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. Stud and Dud. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, our Facebook page. I'm going to get that going, but our website is definitely up and beautiful.
It's
Thank
up
you,
and
Doc.
going.
Stud and Dud. Don't forget it. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm Josh Smith.
I'm Dr. Bob Lawrence.
Until next time, be good, guys.
All right.